Gnosticism. Gnosticism taught that the world was created by a lower and flawed being, not by the true and highest God. This idea changed everything because it suggested the physical world was a mistake. Followers believed people carried a hidden spark from the real God, and that only secret knowledge could unlock it. The movement appeared in the first centuries of Christianity, mixing older ideas from different cultures. It spread quickly among groups who felt regular teachings did not explain suffering or injustice. Church leaders rejected it because it denied the goodness of creation, questioned the identity of Jesus, and claimed that only a small group with special knowledge could be saved. That clashed with the message of a single God, a real incarnation, and a shared faith for everyone. Arianism. Arianism argued that Jesus was not equal to God, but created by him at some point in the past. This idea spread fast because it seemed to make the relationship between Father and Son easier to understand. It began with a priest named Arius in Alexandria who wanted to defend the oneness of God and avoid any idea that Christians worshipped more than one divine figure. His teaching became popular among many believers and even gained support from some political leaders of the empire. Church authorities called it a heresy because it denied that Jesus shared the same divine nature as the Father, which weakened the entire idea of salvation. If Jesus was not fully divine, then his role could not match the message taught from the beginning. The conflict grew so large that it led to the Council of Nicaea, where bishops rejected Arius's view and declared that the Son was fully divine and eternal. Catharism. Catharism appeared in medieval Europe with a sharp and radical idea. It claimed the world was ruled by a dark power, and that the true God had nothing to do with the physical world. Cathars believed the soul was trapped in a cycle of suffering, and that the only way to escape was to reject anything tied to material life. Their lifestyle was strict and attracted people who were disappointed with corruption in the church. Authorities labeled the movement a heresy because it denied the goodness of creation, rejected key beliefs about Jesus, and dismissed the sacraments. Cathar communities grew strong in southern France, which alarmed both religious and political leaders. The conflict escalated to the point that a military campaign was launched against them, and the movement eventually disappeared after years of pressure and violence. Manichaeism. Manichaeism began with the teachings of a Persian thinker named Mani, who claimed to reveal a complete explanation of the universe. His message said reality was shaped by a constant struggle between a realm of pure light and a realm of deep darkness. Humans were caught in the middle because their bodies belonged to the dark side while their inner light came from the higher realm. The movement spread fast across different regions because it combined elements from several religions. Church leaders called it a heresy because it denied a single all-powerful God and reduced Jesus to one messenger among many. It also rejected creation as good and treated the material world as a trap. Its strict rules and bold claims drew many followers, but its ideas directly challenged core beliefs about God, creation, and the identity of Jesus, which led to strong opposition and eventual decline. Iconoclasm. Iconoclasm spread during the Byzantine Empire when some leaders insisted that using images in worship led believers away from God. They argued that pictures of Jesus, Mary, and the saints encouraged people to treat these images as sacred objects. Supporters believed removing them would protect the faith from confusion. The movement gained political backing, which helped it grow across the empire. Church authorities called it a heresy because it attacked a long tradition of using images to teach and support devotion. Many believers defended their icons and saw them as reminders of real people and real events. The clash became so intense that churches were stripped of artwork and families were divided over the issue. After years of conflict, the church restored the use of icons and declared the iconoclastic view unacceptable because it denied the role of images in Christian teaching and worship. Pelagianism. This idea spread when a teacher named Pelagius argued that people are born with the ability to choose good without needing special help from God. He said humans start life in a clean state and become guilty only when they freely choose to do wrong. His message gained followers because it sounded encouraging and gave people a sense of control over their choices. Church leaders labeled it a heresy because it denied the belief that all humans inherit a damaged condition that affects their decisions. If people could save themselves through effort alone, then key teachings about grace and the role of Jesus lost their meaning. The debate became intense, and the view was rejected because it changed the way the faith explained human nature, responsibility, and the need for divine help. Marcionism. Marcionism started when a wealthy teacher named Marcion claimed that the God of the Old Testament and the God revealed by Jesus were completely different. He said the first was strict and concerned with rules, while the second was a God of pure goodness. Based on this idea, he rejected the entire Old Testament and created his own shorter version of Christian writings. His message gained followers because it offered a simple explanation for the differences people noticed between the two parts of the Bible. Church leaders called it a heresy because it divided God into two beings, removed key books of Scripture, and changed the story of Jesus to fit Marcion's ideas. His teachings pushed the church to clarify which books belonged in the Bible, and his movement eventually declined, but its impact on early Christian debates was significant. Kharijites. The Kharijites emerged in the early years of Islam during a political conflict over leadership. They broke away after disagreeing with a decision to settle a major dispute through negotiation instead of fighting. Their view was simple and strict. Any leader who committed a serious sin lost all authority, and any believer who supported such a leader was also guilty. This idea attracted people who wanted clear rules and strong moral demands. Muslim authorities considered it a heresy because it turned political disagreements into declarations of unbelief, which created division inside the community. Kharijite groups launched several uprisings and targeted leaders they saw as corrupt, which caused long periods of instability. Their movement declined over time, but small groups survived and kept the same harsh attitude toward leadership and sin. Ahmadiyya. The Ahmadiyya movement began in the 19th century when Mirza Ghulam Ahmad claimed to be a reformer sent to revive Islam. He also presented himself as the promised figure expected by several religious traditions. His message focused on peace, moral discipline, and the rejection of violent interpretations of faith. The movement gained followers in South Asia and spread to other regions through active teaching and community work. Muslim authorities considered it a heresy because it challenged the belief that Muhammad was the final prophet. This single point created strong opposition and led to legal and social pressure against Ahmadis in different countries. Despite this, the movement continued to grow by promoting education, charity, and a global network of communities. Sabbateans. The Sabbateans formed around a Jewish mystic named Sabbatai Zevi, who claimed to be the long-awaited Messiah. His message spread quickly across Europe and the Middle East because people were hoping for relief from political pressure and social hardship. Large crowds accepted him as the promised figure and prepared for major change. Everything collapsed when he was arrested and chose to convert to Islam to save his life. Many followers were shocked, and the movement faced a crisis. Some abandoned him, while others tried to explain his actions as part of a hidden plan. Jewish authorities called the movement a heresy because it promoted a false messiah, caused widespread confusion, and damaged trust in traditional leadership. Even after its collapse, small groups kept supporting his claims, which kept the controversy alive for years. Falun Gong. Falun Gong started in China in the 1990s when Li Hongji introduced a mix of meditation exercises and moral teachings. It grew fast because followers said the practice improved health, discipline, and personal balance. The movement became highly visible, and large groups gathered in public parks to train together. Problems began when the government saw this rapid growth as a threat to its control. Authorities labeled the movement as heretical and launched a campaign to restrict it. Members were accused of spreading ideas that challenged official beliefs and social stability. Despite the pressure, many followers continued practicing in private or moved abroad to keep their activities alive. The conflict between the movement and the state remains one of the most well-known religious disputes in modern China. Raelian movement. The Raelian movement began in the 1970s when Claude Vorilhon said he met advanced beings from another world. He claimed these beings created life on Earth through science and invited humanity to join a future age shaped by knowledge and technology. His message gained attention because it blended religion with ideas about space, creation, and scientific progress. Followers promoted themes like personal freedom, world peace, and the hope of meeting their creators one day. Religious authorities viewed the movement as heretical because it replaced God with extraterrestrial engineers and rejected traditional teachings about creation and revelation. Its public events, unusual claims, and focus on cloning kept it in the spotlight for years. The movement still exists and continues to attract people drawn to its mix of science fiction and alternative spirituality. These movements rose by offering answers that felt simple, bold, or different from what people heard in their communities. Some tried to fix problems they saw in religious leaders, others wanted a clearer path to truth or a new way to explain the world. They were labeled heresies because their ideas clashed with core beliefs and created tension inside their traditions. If you enjoyed this fast overview, subscribe for more videos that break down complex topics in the same clear and direct style.